Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. That's how it gotta be each and every day in our lives. You know what I'm saying? Letting your light shine bright, all that. Because if you're in a place that's dimming your light, why can your light be dimmed in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Can't nobody dim your light unless you let them. So why let them? But with that being said, y'all, we are back at it again. And you know how we start these going on. We're gonna read a beautiful verse from the Bible, and we're gonna read 2 Timothy, starting at verse 1 or chapter 1, verse 7. For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. And we're gonna get into that today. Responding versus reacting to our triggers. Are you disciplined in your responses? Pew, pew. Welcome back, TTP. You know what I'm saying? What up, family? What up, Angel family? Hair by Soul Child Styles LC. Y'all already know what it is. Y'all know the dealio. The dealio. Oh, yeah, y'all. I was talking about this. Y'all gonna have to give me your thoughts. I was talking about this on my close friends the other day on Instagram. My close friends is really just the people that I either talk to the most or people whose opinions are my value, because I like to ask questions and get opinions, but I also don't like, you know, I like to get inspiration from ideas, but I always like to make my own decisions. But I still feel it's always helpful to have people who are like-minded, whose opinions you respect and value around you. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we got a quote here from Dr. Nicole Lepera. There's nothing negative about being triggered. It's a calling to heal our wounds. It's a calling to self-reflect and to get curious about the reaction we are having. So with that being said, y'all already know the episode is called Responding versus Reacting to Our Triggers. And you know, this is episode 50. We halfway to 100. So we wanted to really turn a page in our journey. And I've been, since I've rebranded, I've been kind of like trying to stay on the lighter side, but I also want to go back to like my core intentions, which is change and growth. And I want my stories to be impactful and not just treading the waters. I'm gonna dive in. I'm about to dive in. No, before we're about to dive into this topic real quick. So y'all ever been triggered? You know what I'm saying? Y'all ever felt triggered? Just triggered. Like you just, oh, for instance, just like small triggers that can be happenstance, right? Um, for those that may or may not know, my grandparents, who I love dearly, my heart and soul, they're a white couple that helped my family come to the States when I was a baby, right? Because if y'all know anything about where I come from, well, I was born in 2001. Around that time, it was like the after effects of a civil war that was going on in Liberia, right? And as a baby, I also had malaria. So there's too much stuff going on. Not enough medicine. Your girl had to make it to the States. They've been at me since a jit, y'all. We tried to take your girl out since she was a baby, but I'm still here. Ooh, by God's grace. Amen. Amen. But that's besides the point, y'all. So right. So they're a lovely couple. And I went down there to visit them for Easter Sunday, this past Sunday. And I love them bad. It was just so funny. Because it wasn't like a serious trigger, but obviously we went to their church, right? And we were like, me and my dad and my brother were like the only black people there. And it wasn't nothing serious. It was just so, like, it's something that probably would have triggered me if it wasn't something I was already used to. Because that's where I came, when I first came to the States, our family settled out in Roanoke. So I grew up in the countryside. I, you know what I'm saying? It's nothing to me. But even that's just a small trigger, right? And that's just a happenstance trigger, just being in the situation. But I still had to, maintain my steez and keep it pushing because it was Easter Sunday. We want to know a holla from any type of miscommunication. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of triggering situations can be turned into something way bigger than it needs to be just from the fact of miscommunication. And I've been learning that a lot this year. And that's just a small trigger, but a larger trigger for me, especially this year. Those that know a little bit, I think I talked about it on my last episode, but I was pregnant last year, right? And I would have been due in May. Pregnant with twins, y'all. So I would have been due in May. So for me, like, I literally, before I went out to the club a couple weeks ago, like when if when you sign up for like the little baby apps and stuff like that, they'll send you like a caregiving box like halfway through your pregnancy and then closer to when you're supposed to be due. Tell me why. I'm about to walk outside to go to the club. I see a box on the floor with baby food, all types of shit. And it's not just that. It's just like certain things around that situation. I've just had a lot of triggers, maybe from people that I used to know that just remind me of places and things that I used to go through or situations I used to be in. It's just been a lot of triggering shit this year, bro. And it's really been testing me. God's really been testing me to show me, like, girl, did you really heal? Do you really heal that quick? Or are you just numbing your emotions? Are you just coping? And to my surprise, I think a girl is healing. I think a girl is healing for real. And I say that to say this, right? Because the way I used to respond and react to certain things, especially when it comes to just like miscommunication and disagreements and just me just not wanting to deal with shit like that I feel is BS. You feel what I'm saying? I used to be so passive aggressive. I used to be so passive aggressive. Like I would act like I let things go. OT. I wouldn't. And it used to be bad because just small situations that could have been solved with like a simple conversation, bro, I would let that shit fester for the simple sake because like I grew up in a very petty household. You know what I'm saying? My dad never hit us. You know what I'm saying? My mom would whip our tail, but my dad never hit us because it's stuff he went through when he was a kid. So he would do like, and plus his dad or his grandfather was military. So he was very strategic with how he handled situations. So it was a whole lot of mind games growing up. You know what I'm saying? And for a kid, for me, that's ADHD, like it was pestering. Like it was really annoying, but it also made me think about why I do the things I did. You feel what I'm saying? Even when I would get triggered from like, don't get me wrong, like my dad's a very good man. We all have our own, in my family, our own like mental health things, so that played a part into that whole situation also. So that's also a big thing with when I deal with men at my grown age. When I see them playing games, it triggers me so bad, bro. It triggers me so bad because I understand. And my thing is, because I know a lot of women don't really understand men how they think that they do. Like, we understand patterns very well. Women are very intuitive, so patterns, Where men mess up is when they mess up their pattern. That's when women take that, but don't really see the underlying roots of why they play the games that they do, right? So understanding my dad and understanding my mom also, because we as women have our own tendencies and stuff like that too, has really helped me to understand people in general. And I don't think I would have been able to get to that point if I hadn't like done the work to heal the relationship with my parents. Because honestly, healing the relationship with my parents helped me understand people in general, like so much more. You follow what I'm saying? Like being able, especially because your parents, like they're your superheroes as a kid. And when you get to the point where you have to see them as human, it's almost a reflection of you also, in a sense, because you see yourself as a reflection of your parents. You want to be like them, and you want to, depending on the relationship that you have, but you, every little kid wants to be like their parents because they think their parents is a superhero. But it's also good to be able to understand people will have their faults and understand how much you are willing to allow and what boundaries you have to create with the different individuals that you love in your life. Because as much as I love my father, me and him keep a healthy distance because we understand that we're both very strong-minded people, and when we feel a certain way, we feel a certain way. And in order to prevent static, it's just, I love you, you love me, we understand that we love each other, but there will be times where we have serious disagreements. And sometimes we just need to take a step back, because when you're two strong-willed people, you don't want to be combative. Then it becomes you against the person instead of you against the person against the problem. And I'm able to take that into my current relationships with men and women alike, and as far as like friendships and business interactions and all that type of stuff, right? So bringing back to the whole my miscarriage from last year, that also helped me understand my mom as a woman a lot more, and helped me understand the things that she has grown and struggled through to become the woman that she is. It helps me to have a lot more patience and understanding with women that I meet in my life, because I also understand who I am as a person and how I can come off. And I understand that everybody has their triggers. And I know me, because I've really taken the time to understand myself and who I am as a person. The emotional intelligence I have helps me to not take things as personal, but also know when to make those decisions to distance myself or place boundaries when it comes to dealing with women, because I also understand how I was when I had my mommy issues. I know how I was when I had my daddy issues. I know who I can be if I don't choose to be the person I do every day. You know what I'm saying? It's not that I'm this sweet, kind person because I've never been through shit, or because I've like never really taking the time to understand people. No, it's because I understand like how situations can either grow you or change you in this world. And I understand that people can sometimes show up as their triggers when they don't realize how their triggers impact them. And that's why I'm so like big on, I don't believe in good and bad people. I believe that people make good and bad decisions, and until they heal the root of those decision making like issues, you're going to continue to make decisions from that space. So that just means I can't be around that until you decide to heal that. Doesn't mean I don't have to, that doesn't mean I don't love you, that doesn't mean I don't care for you, that doesn't mean I have to hate you. No, it's just, why, if I already have been through a situation and I notice similar patterns, why? Why would I then go back? Stay with me now. Why would I then go back and put myself through the same exact situation that I've already dealt with before? If there's no other reason for God allowing us to go through situations other than to not allow ourselves to continue to go through those situations after he's shown us a pattern, then what else is the reason? Like, what is the reason? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm just going through the same loops over and over, you think God's not just gonna be sitting there looking at you like, aren't you tired? You know what I'm saying? And we can only blame God and the people around us for so many situations that we go through in our life. And learning how to just take accountability has helped me to take accountability for my triggers. And even though someone might have done something, whether intentionally or not intentionally, to trigger me, that doesn't give me the right to then go and react and do the same thing, because that makes me no better in that situation. And it's so crazy because I was just watching watching the show The Last of Us. I'm gonna talk about Sinners next week when I on my next episode. But I was watching this show The Last of Us, right? And this girl, mind you, the guy that she was hunting killed her dad. The guy had his reasons for killing her dad, but the impact was all the same. Now this girl, mind you, this man had done it to save his daughter and help her because they were trying to use her as a cure, basically. So even though their intentions were good, they were still having to sacrifice a little girl, and he wasn't having that. So in order to protect her, he killed the doctor that was the only person that could do the surgery on her. So in order to save someone he loved, he had to kill someone else. And then he went on about his business, right? They found a town, they were safe, and they thought they were good. Now they're going about their business, living life, adapting to their new circumstances. And here comes this girl and the people that are left from the group that he killed, and they're hunting this man down. So they finally find him where we're at. Mind you, there's like these zombies, like not zombies, but these infected people that they're basically all running from, right? And having to make shelters to protect themselves from. So now this group that's hunting this man down for killing her father come there to come and kill him. They find this man, beat the living out of him, and then kill him and right before they kill him, right? The girl that he had saved comes in to try and save him. In the same way, she had to find out about her father dying, is the same way that she now is the one killing and putting someone else in the same situation she was just in. Not to say that what she wasn't doing in her mind was righteous, but vengeance belongs to the Lord for a reason, because God sees everybody's heart in this situation. As much as she probably understood, she couldn't empathize with what the man was trying to do, because her dad was dead. It was past anything else because her dad was dead. And that's why I always say, it's like, it's not that people's emotions aren't justified, but your reactions to your emotions have to be wiser. Your response has to be wiser than the reactions that you want to have. Your response has to be wiser than the reaction that you want to have. Because when we respond, a response would have, even if she had beat him down, she still had the option to not kill him. She could have let all that out on him and still let him go and shown him mercy. But because she was not able to let that trigger go, the only way, even though now that they had come through, they had brought all these people with him because of that girl, the one that killed the guy in the end, let's call her B. Because of B, now they're all about to die. You feel what I'm saying? Now they're all compromised. Yeah, she got what she wanted in the end, but now all these people had to defend themselves and defend their city because of all the chaos that she brought with her. Not that she's in her heart a horrible person. It's simply that she couldn't let the trigger go. And sometimes I'm learning in my life that some people just can't let their triggers go. Not that they can't, but they just choose not to. Because it's just something that feeds their spirit in a way that validates them. And validation can be very important to a lot of people. And when I get into situations these days where it just seems like a point of validation, I just let that shit go. Because I understand how far I used to want to go to prove a point, and I understand that, like, even though it might have been justified, in the end, I ended up either forgetting about it or not even feeling as good as I really thought I would have. Because I would have that conviction in my heart. Because maybe, yeah, it needed to happen. Because a balance has to come at the end of the day. There's a time for everything. There's time for light. There's time for darkness. But in the same breath, it's it's knowing where that intention comes from. Is it coming from a triggered place or a place of solace and wisdom and knowing the decision that you have to make? Or is it coming from a reactive position of, oh, I feel like this, and in order to stop feeling like this, I have to do something. You know what I'm saying? So that's why responding is so important, because when you respond, you could take a second. When I respond, nowadays, I don't do nothing without asking God first. Prayer. You know what I'm saying? If I'm feeling triggered, I really sit down. I'm just like, even though I might be able to intellectualize why I'm feeling triggered, I really ask God to reveal to me why He's allowing me to feel triggered. Because if He wants me to show Him and show myself that my response is different than how my reactions used to be, then I can do that. I can use the strength that He gives me to show myself I'm not where I used to be. I'm safe. I'm okay because I choose to be so. I choose to not allow myself to go through what I used to. And because I can come to that point now, it's like I let things go over, bro. Like, it's above me now. Like I said in the last episode. It's hard for me to take things personal these days. I might initially, but once I take a second and really just break things down, I'm just like, it's never worth it to me. The peace that I've found and the purpose that I have over my life, nothing is more important than what God wants me to do for myself and others. Because that's who blesses me at the end of the day. That's the reason why I'm able to work for myself full time over 3 years now. That's the reason why I'm able to be a blessing in other people's lives, because God blesses me for what I do. I don't play with that. So for me, when it comes to everything that I do now, it has to make sense. And it has to make sense in a way that it makes sense emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. If it doesn't, then I have to take a second and ask why before I make a decision, so I know I'm responding instead of reacting. So, as you go throughout this week, I pray that you will take a second to breathe, to understand, and to know in your heart that, one, you don't always have to rush to make a decision. You can take a second. Peer pressure is an illusion. You can only pressure yourself if you allow yourself to feel pressured. Take a second to breathe before making decisions this week. You know what I'm saying? Two, show yourself a little kindness. Sometimes we get more easily triggered. I know me, I'm ADHD. So while I'm not upkeeping with myself, making time for myself, taking, like this weekend, I took myself on a couple dates, like self-care dates, took myself to get my feet done. Got a nice little spa petty, and went to go to the movies, went to go see family, and just grounded my spirit and my heart again. And that put me in a place where I felt more solid. You know what I'm saying? I felt more solid in myself. So even if those little triggers fly, they just fall down. You know what I'm saying? And three, be mindful of what is triggering you. Is it something that you choose to maintain in your life? Do you choose to maintain um, friendships, relationships, or positions that keep you in places that trigger you in a way that doesn't grow you? If so, ask yourself why. Is it in the long run worth your mental health and your peace? Or is it a challenge that God is showing you to be more than what you've allowed yourself to be in the past because of your triggers? So stay blessed, stay loved, one love, and be a blessing unto others. But learn how to be a blessing unto yourself by taking time for yourself and learning yourself so we don't keep reacting from a place of our triggers. I love you guys, and y'all stay blessed.